Could microbial life exist inside Enceladus, where no sunlight reaches, photosynthesis is impossible, and no oxygen is available? To answer that question, we need to look no farther than our own planet to find examples of the types of exotic ecosystems that could make life possible on Saturn's geyser moon. And the answer appears to be, yes, it could be possible. It is this tantalizing potential that brings us back to Enceladus for further study. In recent years, life forms have been found on Earth that thrive in places where the sun doesn't shine, and oxygen is not present because no photosynthesis takes place. Microbes have been discovered that survive on the energy from the chemical interaction between different kinds of minerals, and others that live off the energy from the radioactive decay in rocks. The ecosystems are completely independent of oxygen or organic material produced by photosynthesis at Earth's surface. These extraordinary microbial ecosystems are models for life that might be present inside Enceladus today. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Space World. In today's video, we are going to talk about impossible signs of life found on Saturn's moon. So if you want to know more about it, then stay with us until the end of the video. The icy crust enveloping Saturn's moon Enceladus has long fascinated astronomers. Evidence collected by NASA and the European Space Agency's Cassini-Huygens spacecraft suggests that the shell could be hiding a massive subsurface ocean made up of briny water underneath it, which, tantalizingly, could potentially harbor life. Enceladus doesn't seem like a prime place for microscopic life, given its icy outer surface. However, just beyond that layer is an ocean-like slush with a seafloor with hydrothermal vents. That watery substance sometimes breaks through its cold shell in water plumes, similar to a geyser erupting on Earth. Further evidence comes from NASA's Cassini space probe, which has studied the ringed planet and its moons to discover carbon dioxide and dihydrogen too. So what does this mean? It's likely that microbes might be hanging out down there. Of course, this isn't a full-stop conclusion, which Regis Ferrier, co-lead author of this study, explains in the research that's published in Nature Astronomy. According to a new study by a team from the University of Arizona and Paris Sciences and Letters University, published in the journal Nature Astronomy recently, Cassini's observations that found Enceladus is expelling plumes of methane gas suggest that the moon's subsurface oceans may be habitable to Earth-like microorganisms. We wanted to know, could Earth-like microbes that eat the dihydrogen and produce methane explain the surprisingly large amounts of methane detected by Cassini? Asked Regis Ferrier, an associate professor at the University of Arizona and a lead author of the study, in a statement. But figuring out the answer for sure is far from easy. Searching for such microbes, known as methanogens, at Enceladus's seafloor would require extremely challenging deep dive missions that are not in sight for several decades, he added. If we look back in time a little, then in 2005, NASA's Cassini-Saturn orbiter discovered geysers, blasting particles of water ice into space from tiger stripe fractures near Enceladus's south pole. That material, which forms a plume that feeds Saturn's E-ring, which is the planet's second outermost ring, is thought to come from a huge ocean of liquid water that sloshes beneath the moon's icy shell. And there's more than just water ice in the plume. During numerous close flybys of the 313-mile-wide Enceladus, Cassini spotted many other compounds as well. For example, dihydrogen and a variety of carbon-containing organic compounds, including methane. The dihydrogen and methane are particularly intriguing to astrobiologists. The dihydrogen, or also known as H2, is likely being produced by the interaction of rock and hot water on Enceladus's seafloor, scientists have said, suggesting that the moon has deep-sea hydrothermal vents, the same type of environment that may have been life's cradle here on Earth. In addition, H2 provides energy for some Earth microbes that produce methane from carbon dioxide in a process called methanogenesis. Something similar could be happening on Enceladus, especially given that Cassini also spotted carbon dioxide and a surprising bounty of methane in the moon's plume. Therefore, the team constructed mathematical models to see if methanogenesis could account for the data collected by Cassini. According to their conclusion, microbial hydrothermal vent activity, or processes that would involve extraterrestrial microorganisms, could explain the methane detected by Cassini. The authors then ran the model to see whether a given set of chemical conditions, such as the dihydrogen concentration in the hydrothermal fluid and temperature, would provide a suitable environment for these microbes to grow. They also looked at what effect a hypothetical microbe population would have on its environment, for example, on the escape rates of dihydrogen and methane in the plume. Comparing this with Earth, on Earth, hydrothermal activity is caused by cold seawater dipping into the ocean floor, where it gets warmed up by local sources of heat like magma. This water then gets expelled out of vents in the ocean floor, a process that drips methane into the water over time. Most of this methane is released by microorganisms that use the heat as a source of energy, turning carbon dioxide into methane. According to their computer simulations, the researchers found that similar conditions could exist on Enceladus. In summary, not only could we evaluate whether Cassini's observations are compatible with an environment habitable for life, but we could also make quantitative predictions about observations to be expected should methanogenesis actually occur at Enceladus's seafloor, Ferrier said in the statement. In fact, without the existence of biological sources of methane production, the levels of methane observed by Cassini couldn't be matched using their models. Still, it would be premature to draw any definite conclusions. Obviously, we are not concluding that life exists in Enceladus's ocean, Ferrier added. Rather, we wanted to understand how likely it would be that Enceladus's hypothermal vents could be habitable to Earth-like microorganisms. Very likely, the Cassini data tells us, according to our models. So, scientists and researchers simply don't have enough data to go off of just yet. In other words, we can't discard the life hypothesis as highly improbable, Ferrier said. To reject the life hypothesis, we need more data from future missions. The researchers also didn't rule out other possible abiotic processes that could explain the methane data. For instance, the chemical breakdown of primordial organic matter in the Moon's core could be causing significant amounts of methane to be ejected. So, Richard Matthews of the University of California, Berkeley, conducted experiments with the team to see if future missions could do it. Using a gas rifle, the team simulated how to fly a probe through the flow of ice particles to take samples of their objects, launching them into a sheet of metal at speeds of several kilometers per second. The experiment showed that even at speeds of up to 3 kilometers per second, such life-proof evidence of amino acids or sugars could be obtained and sufficient information could be gathered to test the probe itself. Organic molecules are resistant to collisions, says Mathis. An orbit around Saturn travels at 3 kilometers per hour through Encelada. It will rotate more slowly around the satellite minus 200 meters a second, which will simplify the sample. So no mission to Enceladus has been planned yet, but Mathis and his team hope their investigation will lead to this planning. Enceladus gives us a great opportunity because it gives us samples automatically, he says. And this is it for today, guys. What are your thoughts on today's video? Share your views with us in the comments below. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell icon for more amazing videos about space. And thank you for watching.